All right, so tonight what we're going to do is we're going to go over essentially the paperwork part of Guide by Your Side. So outreach forms, progress notes, timesheets, and a little bit more, I think. Maybe not forms, but just general information. So we're going to start with our pretest. Just answer, if above the participant name, there's a chat bubble. Just click on that. That'll open up your chat box below the names. And then you want to send it to me only. So in the send to box, just find Ginger or host. And then in the box is where you'll type the answer and then click send. And only answer one question, the question that I read, at a time. And then when I move to the next one, you answer the second one. It really throws me off if you send in multiple answers. So question number 1, the maximum amount of time that you can wait to bill for any family time is A, 2 weeks, B, 45 days, or C, there is no time cap on submitting timesheets. Okay. Question 2, after you receive notification from me that you are matched with a family, you should A, wait until next week when you have more time to contact them, B, go to their house so you can introduce yourself, C, call, text, or email them within 48 hours of receiving the information from me. Question 2. All right, oh, and I forgot to mention, when you answer the question, could you put the question number in front of your answer as well? Thank you. All right. Question 3. You should submit progress notes to me, A, once a quarter, B, every week, C, every time you submit a timesheet, D, when you are done working with the family, or E, never. All right, question 4. You can bill for travel time for an in-home visit, A, only the first time you visit the family in person, B, every time you visit the family in person, or C, you cannot bill for travel time for in-person visits. Okay, 2 more questions. Number 5, there are 4 levels in the recognition program, true or false? And number 6, you should leave your Guide by Your Side paperwork, such as progress notes and intake forms, laying around at the house. True or false? All right, wonderful. Let's get moving. All right, so who is referring families to us? It would be anyone, professionals, parent guides themselves. Parents will contact us directly, or other parents will refer a family to us. They won't necessarily call us and say, hey, call my friend, but they will tell their friend about us. So it's really important that no matter who we come in contact with, we're positive, we're upbeat, and we share the information correctly. And again, in your outreach, you'll hear about this a little bit more. You want to be prepared to give that elevator speech. So you kind of have your canned speech that you can tell anyone about the program, and that includes your friends. If you're talking to your friend, you say, oh, you know, I just started this part-time gig, you know, I'm helping other families. Well, that doesn't sound too everlasting in their memories of what you do. and what happens if they know someone that has a child with hearing loss. So I would treat anyone the same as far as sharing what you do. So how does the process work? How do we get families? So we would receive maybe a call, an email, or a referral form in the mail or fax to us, and then I would go and call or contact that family. And after I explain the program to them and they are interested in participating, I'll go through an intake form with them, and I don't call it an intake form with them. I don't want to scare anyone off. I just say it's a quick questionnaire. And then from there, after I go through the questionnaire with them, I'll see where they're at, what their needs are, and then I'll match them with the guide. 95% of the time they are matched with the guide in their region, and only because you have a better chance of meeting them in person. You understand the resources or sometimes lack of resources that are available in your area or that region that you cover. Again, if you're doing the outreach in your area, it only makes sense for you to receive the referrals from your area. And then when everything is finished and they're ready to close their file, I will send the family an evaluation form to ask them about their experience with our program. If the evaluation form is returned, I will share that with the parent guide that it's for. So if you're visual, this is how it works. You've probably seen this off the when I gave the information about hiring. But the referral comes into the coordinator. Then the coordinator talks to the family, gets the information from them, connects them with the parent guide. The parent guide works with them one-on-one. And then when all is said and done and they're ready to close their file, the parent guide lets me know, and I will send the family information that we've closed their file and to fill out their survey. So again, parent guide matches are, family matches are determined by location, sometimes language mode or communication mode. It depends on what the family's hang-up is, for lack of a better word, or other considerations. We do have a deaf parent guide on our team, and so if they would like that resource and only that resource, then I'd match them with her. However, if they're from your area but also would like to talk to her, I don't discourage both of you working with that family, and I would really encourage you to be on the phone call when our deaf parent guide is on the phone as well. This way you can hear what advice she's giving them, tips, and, hang on to that for future use. So what happens? Woohoo, you've got a family. You've got mail. So after you've got a connection with the family, after I call you up, I'll either text you or email typically and say, hey, do you have a minute to chat? And then what I'll do is I'll talk with you about that family, kind of go through the intake form, point out some of the key points of that, what makes that family, and then I will email that intake form over to you, so you'll have all that basic information. I do let the family know that you will contact them within 48 hours. These days, typically it is best to send a text or an email first to introduce yourself and find out when the best time to talk with them would be. So I typically ask the family to, what's the best way to contact them, so I give that all to you. The first time you talk to them, you don't want to be on the phone for 2-3 hours. You really just want to do a quick intro call. You don't want to spill the beans. A lot of times what we find is if the guide does spend all that time on the first call talking with the family, then the family, I guess, is filled. I can't think of the phrase or the thing that I want to match it to, but they're at a point where like, okay, I feel good, I don't really need anything right now, and then they kind of just sit back, and it's really hard to make a future connection with them. So kind of like a trail of breadcrumbs, you want to do it over time. One, too, we don't want to overwhelm the family. And so giving them too much information in one call might be too much. Really, that intro call is just to say who you are, find out what the time is to meet up with them in person or talk with them again, find out what their needs are so you can work on something until you talk with them again. Let them know how to contact you. Even though I will send them your business card, it doesn't hurt to give that to them over the phone. Most importantly, you're listening to the family's needs. This call is about them, not you. So don't start in with your family's story. Find out, again, what they need, where they're at, and meet them at that point. You want to try, again, to set up a time to meet or speak with them. And then always ask, is there anything that you have questions on or you have concerns over or you have coming up that maybe you want to talk about or you need resources on? And then that's something you can work on. When you're taking notes or taking in this information, it doesn't hurt to ask that question back. Okay, so you've got an audiology appointment coming up and you're a little concerned because you're not quite sure if Joey is a cochlear implant candidate and you're not sure what that really means, what that entails, and what a cochlear implant is about. Is that right? Clarify with them. So what's a family meeting? You can meet with families over the phone or in person, text, email, whatever works for you and the family is what we allow and we're fine with. Skype, FaceTime, again, whatever. We really encourage meetings of an hour. Now I know family time is precious, so sometimes that's not doable, but you can always let them know, too, that you're available, that you've set aside an hour for them, because maybe they're rushing to get off the phone because they feel like they don't want to take up your time. The reason why in person is in bold is because we really encourage you to meet at least once face-to-face. We really want you to make a deeper connection with the family, and we really find that that does happen when you have that opportunity to meet with them in person. Visits with the family, what is typical? Nothing is typical. We've had a little bit of everything. We've had guides get there, and it's more of a nanny that they're meeting with or, included in there. We've had a guide walk in, and the whole entire extended family is sitting there and wasn't really prepared for that. Is that doable? Yeah, absolutely. Again, if that's what's holding the family back or holding them up or just going to help this child, let's make it happen. The time frame between meetings can vary, so don't rush it. Don't be saying, okay, how about we talk again next week? If the family doesn't want to talk again next week, don't push it. Don't immerse yourself in their life and have them be running for the door. But again, don't let them hang on. Okay, 6 months is how long we keep a family file open now. After that 6 months, you'll see where they're at. But you don't want to end the meeting not knowing or not telling them when you're going to contact them next. So please let them know so that they find comfort, and then let them know as well, listen, if I don't, if something comes up before January 5th when I talk with you, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Here's how you can get a hold of me. When a file is ready to close, very important, please email me, and in the subject line, put close family, and let me know who we need to close, okay? I'm not reading it off of your timesheets. I'm not keeping track of the 6 months, so please communicate that with me. The best thing that we have found is that besides me telling families that they need to be in touch with you at least once a month is, again, for you to reiterate that when you start meeting with them. I know Carrie mentioned to you that in order to keep your file open, we need to communicate at least once a month. Is there a better day of the week or a time of day for me to check in with you? You know, and so if they say, oh, you know, Saturdays afternoon seems to work, all right, well, I can try to do that. Sometimes I have some family things going on, but let me definitely put that in my notes. So at the meeting, what are we looking? What's it going to look like? Expect the unexpected. Honestly, you don't know what you're walking into. You don't know what might have happened the day before that day. So don't go in with a plan to talk about A, B, and C. Have some things prepared just in case, but really let the family lead you. There might be times when you really won't click with the family, and that is all right. There are different things that you can do. You can suggest to the family, maybe, you know, I'm not quite sure if I'm helping you. Is there anything that I can do for you, any way that I can help you? Would you like to talk to someone else on our team? And go from there. You never know what might come from those questions. What do you do when you don't have an answer? You simply say, you know what, that's a great question. I don't know. I haven't experienced that. I haven't heard of that. But, you know, that doesn't mean anything. Let me talk to my fellow guides. Let me do a little more research on that, and I'll get back with you. What do we do during a meeting? Find out what the family needs. You can share resources such as the Children Hearing Loss Notebook, Book of Choice. That's a book from Hands of Voices National. You can, sorry guys, share more information about local and state organizations. Maybe they need financial help. Maybe financial help in the sense of, you know, paying for food, then let's get them contacts for WIC. Maybe they need help financially for medical expenses. Well, do they qualify for DSEC? So different things like that. Find out what their needs are and share away. Again, I can't say this enough. Listen, zip the lip. I know sometimes uncomfortable silence is exactly that. It's uncomfortable. But we find the best things come out once you let that happen. So give it a shot. I encourage you to even try it with friends. You know, sit back in that conversation and keep your mouth shut and, you know, see what your friend says. Maybe something will come out, or maybe they'll have, you know, something to share that you might have missed if you were more dominant in the conversation. And then after every time that you communicate with the family, you would fill out a progress note, whether that's an email, text, phone conversation, in-person meeting. And the reason why you do that is so that you have an ongoing record of that communication. What happens if, you know, you're relying on the text messages that you sent back and forth, and you drop your phone in water, and all that is wiped away? You won't have anything to go back and any way to check those text messages to figure out where you left off, when the last time you contacted them was, what was the last thing that they wanted you to look into. All right, so really important to record everything on the progress notes. It really helps you connect with them. Wouldn't that be impressive the next time you call up Sandy, Joey's mom, and said, I know last time we talked you were really concerned about the possibility of a cochlear implant, and I know you had an appointment last week Tuesday. How did that go? Really makes them feel important if you can pull out those special details and start the conversation that way. When you're ready to wrap things up with them, again, recap the conversation. Okay, so today we talked a little bit about the cochlear implant. We touched on how therapy has been going. and about an interaction that you had in the grocery store with another shopper. Next time, I know that we're going to talk a little bit more about the cochlear implant. I'm going to look into those couple contacts for you. Here's, again, my information. Don't hesitate to reach out to me, even if it's before our next time to talk. So, protocols for the home. Sometimes we're in, I guess, out of our element is more like it. We might be traveling to areas that we haven't traveled to before. We might be traveling into the city, and if we're from the suburbs, we don't think about not being able to park on the streets, or we don't think about having to pay for parking and things like that. So just keep that in mind when you're going to the home to visit. Ask them before you get there, is it okay if I park in the driveway? And if they say yes, is there a particular side you'd like me to park on? Because what happens if husband's coming home and he always pulls to the right side of the driveway, and that might set him off if you're parked in his spot when he comes home. It's just polite. So, you know, don't hesitate to ask those questions. If you're uncomfortable because you don't like traveling, you know, more than 45 minutes or whatever it might be, or you're not quite sure, or you know what, Chicago driving drives you crazy, ask if you can meet somewhere in the middle or somewhere in their neighborhood where you won't have to worry about parking and so forth. When you get to the home, again, announce yourself and that you're the parent guide, and always keep in mind the family's culture and any requests they have. They might ask you to remove your shoes. So are your feet prepared? I know this might sound silly, but you know, did you put on those holy socks that morning because you were just quickly getting dressed before the kids were running out the door for school, and you forgot that minor detail later in the day? Yeah, so just be prepared for possibly taking off your shoes, or maybe the home being cooler than what you live in at home, and so forth. If you've got a fear of animals, or if maybe you're allergic, again, don't hesitate to ask the families about that before you go. And obviously no alcohol drinking. I should be more specific on the slide. I don't want you to parch yourself here. You can definitely have non-alcoholic drinks, but no alcohol, no smoking at the home of the family. All right, and if you do smoke, please just keep that in mind. Try not to smell like you had just finished one before you go into the family's home, especially if we're meeting with a lot of families with younger ones. This is going to get a little crazy. All right, so think of it this way, a minute per mile. All right, so you MapQuest it, and it's 25 miles to that family's home. So 25 miles, round trip is 50. All right, we always round up or round down where appropriate. Well, we do by the quarter hour. So 50 is closer to 45 than it is 60. So you would bill for 45 minutes travel time to that family's home, in addition to the time with the family. So you'll see in the timesheet that there's one column for family time and another column for travel time. So if you spent an hour at the family, you'd put an hour in the family time column. And then if you spent 45 minutes traveling, you would put 45 there, and then you carry over an hour and 45 to the far right column for the total. Okay? Anything over 15 miles one way is paid. So if your round trip is under 30 miles, then we figure that that's close enough that it's doable. Only one home visit per family is paid mileage. So what I would recommend is that if you want to visit with that family again, maybe you have another family on the way there, or in that close to that neighborhood, and maybe you could set it up where you're doing a first visit with another family that's close to them, and so you're going to still kind of get your mileage reimbursed one way make it worth your time. Anything over 150 miles round trip needs to be approved by me first. Please ask before you go. And then we talked about using your time wisely, maybe trying to set up more than one at once. So on the phone, if you don't want them to know your number, maybe you're going to use your landline instead of your cell phone or whichever, you can feel free to block your phone by pushing star 67. Make sure that you're in a private area away from noise, obviously your family, because they're so, yeah, you never know what's going to happen, right? And then just be prepared. Have progress notes out or maybe your computer out so you can type things while you're going, a pen, whatever you might need. And then just let the family know. If you take a pause, just say, oh, you know, I'm sorry, just give me a second. I'm just taking down a couple notes. Or if you're clicking away on the keyboard, let them know. I'm just going to take some notes while we're talking today, just so you don't think that I'm surfing the web while we're talking. I'm actually taking some notes. Okay? Email. You're going to use your Guide by Your Side email address, which I heard back from today. He supposedly said that it is going to be set up by the end of today, which would be great. But in order to give that to you, I need to know what your starting password is, and I haven't heard that. So as soon as I do hear from him, I will let you know. The idea behind the Guide by Your Side email address is that it is private, your family doesn't have access to it, and so forth. Keep your emails professional. Don't ask for help information over the internet. And then make sure your email signature includes your name, your title, and our mission statement. And then have below your signature my information. And this is all addressed in our policy and procedure manual. Again, don't have any backgrounds in your email or jokes or quotes or religious thoughts. Keep it professional. But most importantly, remember that words can be misinterpreted by email. So read it again before you send it. If you're not sure, then just don't send it at all. Just give them a call. Play it safe. So again, in your emails, have my information under your information. If you're on vacation, make sure you set up an out-of-office message. And please let me know that you're heading out of town. Nothing like me matching you up with the family when you're out in Bora Bora, okay, or Wisconsin Dells. Even if it's just a weekend. I don't have set office hours, so I will talk to families over the weekend and possibly be matching families over the weekend. So don't assume, oh, it's the weekend, you know, she's not going to need me. Please, just don't leave me hanging. Just let me know, okay? And the reason for the vacation message, too, is that even if you let all your families know you're heading out of town, if a provider tries to contact you and you don't have that message set up, they're going to think that you're pretty unprofessional because it took you a week and a half or who knows how long to return their call or answer them. All right, so how to set up your email signature. Don't worry about furiously trying to take notes or screen printing your page here. I am going to email you all the PowerPoint slides so that you can kind of go through and have these notes to go in and set this up once your email is ready and raring to go. So basically, top right, you click on options, then it says see all options, so it's just got a few, and then you can add more. And then go over to settings, mail, and that's the information you need to put in. You also want to make sure you check the box below so that this gets added to your outgoing messages. And then most importantly, please hit save at the bottom right of the screen before you move off the page. Otherwise, you did all that work for nothing. Vacation message, same thing. Again, it will be in your notes or in the PowerPoint slides that I send you, so don't worry about taking notes here. So, final steps. You're done. The family's ready to close. You tell them that they can always come back to the program if they have any needs in the future. It's not a one-time done program for us. The next step is to make sure that the family is connected with Hands and Voices. They're really the future for the families. They're going to keep the families in the loop with events and things that are happening and opportunities for their kids. Ask if we can stay in contact to inform them of special conferences, gatherings, and information. If we didn't have their email when you first got the intake form and they have one now, please, if it's okay with them, I can add them to the email list, send that information to me. If their email has changed since when I first gave it to you, let me know that as well. And then, again, contact me, let me know to close the file. I will send them the evaluation form, and then if it's returned, I will share it with you. All right, on to the good stuff. Woot, woot. We're not sleeping. We're sleeping now. Progress reports. Progress reports. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And those orange bars separate the each progress note section. So the first section above the orange line is like progress note 1 if you just started meeting with a family. The middle one would be progress note 2, progress note 3 for the bottom. The next page would continue on page 4, or progress note 4, 5, and 6, and so forth. So progress note 1, you texted the family to introduce yourself, okay? You're going to put in there, send a text to introduce myself. Note the time or the date that you did that, okay? Because if you're going through your progress notes or your family file and you realize, I sent them the text but they never responded, that'll help you know when was that text sent or how did I contact them, and so forth. Now, obviously a text is not 15 minutes worth of time. What we do allow you is to bill 15 minutes per family for all those miscellaneous texts, emails, gathering of information and stuff over the month, okay? So each month you can bill 15 minutes per family to handle those miscellaneous time. The very top, that box, that is for you to record the family name and then your name so that when you turn them in to me, I know who they are and who they belong to. And this is all explained on the tip sheet right here, okay? So if you have any questions, it's all here. The one thing, again, the time, the 15, 30, 45, 60, keep it to the 15-minute increments. So again, if it was 20 minutes, you would check it as 15. If it was 40 minutes, you would check it as 45. Run up, run down, it all evens out, okay? How to save it in your computer, I have suggestions there. That also helps me because when you send the file to me, it helps me match them up with you quicker, okay? And since you got that and it's kind of hard to read here, I'm going to just go through that. One of the things that I pulled off of that tip sheet was the quarter. So when do you need to send in the progress notes? So at the end of each quarter is when you would send it in. So the next round of progress notes would be January 1st. And because you are not actively working with any families on your own, some of you might be working with a mentor. And if you want to keep progress notes, that's fine, but your mentor should be the one keeping them at this time. So they would be the one turning it in January 1st. You can, again, send them in electronically or you can mail them to me, whichever works for you. Pretty much everyone emails them to me. Again, saving on your computer, what I would recommend is a folder for each family that you work with. So the Jones family, Ford family, and then in that folder you would save the file there. And I recommend the child's first initial, last name, and the quarter. So it's the second quarter because it was in June, and then the year 2014. So 2014. If you want to put spaces in between, dots in between, whatever you like, that is fine. The reason why we go with the child's name is that many times each child will have a different last name as mom, and I typically refer to the child rather than the parent. Each quarter, then you don't need to start a new document. You can just continue on with the progress notes numbers and then save as. So you would just change the quarter name. So first quarter ends and you've had 5 progress notes with that family. Second quarter starts, you will start with progress note 6. Okay, don't start over with the new number. Timesheets. All right, so you email your timesheets to me by the 15th and the 28th. And the 28th is kind of flexible. I really just need it by the last day of the month because the 28th is the shortest amount of time I put in that date. But if there's 31 days, as long as I get it by the 31st, I'm good to go. Your pay days are the 15th and 30th. You gave me the direct deposit forms that will be set up, so it should be all good to go. And so let's go through the tip sheet. And again, this might be a little bit harder to see, so that's why I sent them out to you beforehand. So very important, top right, please put your name. Put the time frame of the dates that are on your on this timesheet. So if the first date, service date is September 22nd, put down September 22nd. And then if the last date on there is October 8th, then, you know, through October 8th in the year. And then you need to sign it. If it is not signed, I cannot process it. Very important. Need your signature right there at the top. Okay. You can, and if you're trying to do it electronically and you don't want to print it out to sign it and then scan it again, you can create your own little signature and like cut and paste it on the document. And so what I would recommend is take a blank piece of paper, take a Sharpie marker and sign your name, and then scan that document. And then you want to take that thing that you had scanned and crop it so it's just your name. Okay, so make it small, not the whole sheet of paper with your name in the middle of it, right? So crop that picture so all you have is this box with your name in it, and then save that as your signature, and then you can just cut and paste that onto the document. And honestly, you can just keep using the same document, so each time you don't have to cut and paste your name. You can just keep using the same document, just change the name of your document for the new timesheet. Okay? So service dates, first column. Second column is the name of the family. Or if it was a training, you would put the name of the training there. Or actually, yeah. And the third column would be how the service was done. Was it a text, email, phone, visit? Was it a webinar, call for all? That would be the third column. Progress note number. Is the child older than 6? If it is, put a yes, a Y. I just need a Y or an N, yes or no. Family, open or closed. Are you currently working with this family? Then it is open. If this is time for the family to close, then you would write close. But don't assume because you wrote close there that I caught it and I'm closing that family's file. I need that separate email from you. Family time. So how long did you work with that family? 15 minutes? Put 15 minutes there. Okay. Family region color. The reason why we added that was because sometimes you're working with a family outside of your area. I don't want to assume that it's from your area, so typically, though, it would be your region. And so Cook County gals, you're brown, and Melinda, you're red, but you can always look on that map. That was at the beginning of the thing, and that's also, again, in our Yahoo group and so forth. Mileage time, that's the minute per mile if you need it. Additional expenses, maybe you had a toll, anything like that. A parking fee, I need receipts for. We don't reimburse for meals unless it's a special circumstance and it was something that was approved, okay? But otherwise, those miscellaneous expenses, you can turn in your receipts. Otherwise, if you just want to record it, but not necessarily bill us for it, it's a good way for you to keep track of things for tax time, okay? and then the total time in the far right column. The middle section of boxes, that is our LRP, our Leveled Recognition Program. And so the date that you did that activity, what the activity was, what level it was for, and if there was any points in it for that activity, or was it just to earn towards the level. And we're going to talk a little bit more about LRP. You have actually a separate recording for that. The very bottom set of boxes is for outreach. So again, the date, who you provided outreach to, was there any additional expenses? Again, these would need to be pre-approved. And then the rate, 20, 40, or 90. 20 being that phone presentation, 40 being an in-person presentation up to 4 hours, and then 90 being anything over 4 hours. Okay? All right. Easy cheesy. My slide doesn't want to advance. There we go. So timesheets, 45 days max to bill for any family time or mileage for in-home visits. For outreach and monthly trainings, get it in the same month. Now for you guys, the November stuff, just get it in on the next timesheet, okay, and you'll be all right. But from here on out, then just make sure you bill the month that it happens. And if you forget, I really encourage you to still submit so I can record it, but you may not get paid. It depends on what I can work. But really, we work so hard on trying to get as close of a budget as possible. And if you're working and forgetting to bill, that's really hurting our program because, you know, I'm thinking we've got all these families and then I can't prove that we're doing the work because we don't have the time being billed. Training time. So monthly webinars and meetings, you'll be able to bill once a month if that monthly training is live, if you attend it live. And sometimes there's exceptions. Maybe it's a recorded training I'd found that I think that's really pertinent, and then I will let you know. You can bill for 1 hour. If the meeting goes over an hour, still only bill for 1 hour. If it's shorter than an hour, still bill for an hour. They all even out. Calls for all, if you again attend the call for all live, then you can bill for that 1 hour. Outreach. So you're going to have a whole presentation on outreach, so I'm not going to go too crazy on it. But this is when you do a booth or you talk to somebody over the phone or in person. Maybe attending a training event where you share about the program. Any outreach needs to be approved by me. I just want to make sure that we don't have 3 people going to the same event or same presentation. And when you do an outreach, you do want to talk about all program partners. So you want to talk about Hands Voices and our EDDI program and Guide by Your Side and Choices for Parents. All of them support our program, so we ask that you share about all of them too. And again, that will be in that outreach training. If more than one of you want to cover an event, only one will get paid unless you're sharing the time of the expo. Maybe one person's doing 3 hours in the morning, the other person's doing 3 hours in the afternoon, and so forth, okay? But again, the first person to notify me that they want to do the outreach, they'll be the ones that would be compensated. This is what the setup for the booth would look like, or an expo. We have the tablecloth, we have the rolling banner, we have the goodies here on the table, and there's about 4 or 5 of these kits throughout the state. So several of the guides, myself, and I think Andrea as well, have a kit. So if you're in Cook County, there's a Cook County kit floating around somewhere. And so if you need that, you would just send an email out to the team asking who, near you has the kit, and you would get it from them to be able to set it up. So outreach form, this is what it looks like. We're going to go to the tip sheet here. Most importantly, can't stress this enough, if you turn this in with any part blank, I will give it right back to you and you will not get paid. So please make sure that each line is filled in The only one that I will allow not to have anything on would be the very bottom where it says people to add to mailing list. Maybe you will have a separate sheet with email addresses, or maybe they're already on our email list, okay? And if that's the case, then you could just say sheet attached, or you could just say already on email, okay? But otherwise, every area needs to be filled in, especially the follow-up area. We will not get paid if that follow-up needed is blank. And the reason being is you've just done a presentation, you're going to tell me you're not going to follow up with them? That doesn't make sense. We want to check in with them. We want to make sure that they don't have any additional questions, anything that came up after the presentation. Maybe do you need to send them more brochures, a thank you card for allowing you to come out and present to them, and so forth, okay? Again, you guys can read through the tip sheet, and if you have any questions, let me know. So just a couple more things about the program, things that come up. A family wants to meet other Guide by Your Side families or children that have a hearing loss. This is not really something that we'd be able to cover your costs for. There are different ways that you can go about seeing about getting support from that, maybe contacting the CFC office, see if they have funding to cover a group meeting, maybe check with their Hands of Voices chapter and see if they have any funding for that, or simply just saying, you know what, that's great, I would love for you to meet other families. Hands of Voices has this great event coming up in January. We're going to, we're going to a gymnastics place. It's going to be so much fun. Why don't you come and meet me there? Okay? So just an FYI on that. Remember, the key focus on Guide by Your Side is really one-on-one support. So that's why we stray away from those group things. Yahoo group. Again, post messages to the group. You can find files there. It's just us parent guides. And then also Ginger and Karen are on there too, okay? So keep that in mind. Email access, that will be the email link. Again, I'll send this to you once your emails are all up. Typically in the past, it's been your first name and then your first letter of your last name. That's what we've set up as your username. And then the password is what we'll get from Tim once it's all set up. Key websites to use, Hands of Voices, whether it's the Illinois chapter website or the Hands of Voices National. Our EDDI program website, it is not EDDI.org or anything like that like you might think it is. It's Illinois Sound Beginnings with an S.org. And that's where all our past calls for all webinars or recorded links are at, which is a great resource for your families. They're kind of hidden, but they're there. Choices for Parents, of course, that website as well, and that's how you get in touch with me. Now, these are work numbers, work emails. You guys know my personal email and my home phone, cell phone. I really prefer home phone and personal cell over these for you guys to contact me, and I also prefer my personal email. Sometimes my Guide by Your Side email eats messages. I don't know what it does. Maybe it gets hungry, not quite sure. But it's kind of frustrating. So I just think my personal email is safer because I use it through Outlook. So not only do I have it in Yahoo, but I have it in Outlook, and then I have it on my phone. So I know I'll find it in one of those places. All right, so organization. You might be thinking, oh, my gosh, how am I going to keep organized? Well, we've got some ways. That flash drive, remember that password-protected flash drive you're going to get from us? It's a great way to keep organized. We already talked about the benefits of the flash drive, and I have already set it up with some files and sub-files for you, so you can maybe change what they're called or add more, certainly, but that's what I suggested. So maybe you have some paper files then, things that you've printed out, and you want to figure out what to do with those. Obviously, some file folders would be great. If you need them, I could probably get them from Chicago Hearing Society. So ask me if you need it, and I'll see what I can do. But what I do is I do have a file folder for different categories, and it really helps me stay organized. Another way that I've helped try to keep things organized is I've taken binder clips, you know, those plastic clips with the two little arms that kind of fling back like a butterfly and then fold down flat. And then I've taken a labeler, and I've written on the binder clip what that clump of papers is. So if I have things to enter into the computer, on the top of the binder clip, I typed out "to enter" and labeled that clip, and then I know everything clipped in that group is stuff that I have to enter in my computer. Same thing for receipts or timesheets. You know, for me, I have a lot of timesheets with all of you, where, you know, that would probably be better a file folder rather than a binder clip. But just some thoughts on helping you stay organized. Calendar, that's another great resource. I don't know if you guys use Calendar on your phone or through your personal emails. There is a calendar available on the Annexter email. The only bad thing about that is when you log out of Annexter email, it won't alert you of the appointment. So that might not be the best option. You might want to continue to do that on your personal email or a paper calendar, whatever you use that works for you. I would highly recommend it, especially keeping track of our team trainings and so forth. So the LRP, what is it? Now, I did say you guys have a separate presentation on this, so I'm not going to go too in deep. But basically, the reason why they started this is they want a consistency between all the programs, because honestly, Illinois was rocking it, and that's great. But, you know, when our neighborhood friends, a state or two over, it really isn't doing much training with their guides. But we've got families that maybe are moving to that state, and we're referring to them. Their program wasn't at the level that our program was at. And so they really wanted to keep consistency with that. It really helped with national with asking for funding too, because then they could say, oh, we have this many guides that have been in the program for this many years. It really looks good to show that consistency. And it really shows that you guys are engaged and you're more than just that parent, that we really do put a lot of time and effort into helping you grow and be the leader that these families need. It also creates a great title for your bio or resume. And in Illinois, we give you benefits. Other states with the leveled recognition program, they might just give you a certificate. We decided to take it up a notch and give some recognition, I guess, beyond just that certificate. And that would be, actually, it'll come on the next slide. Sorry, guys. You'll have to wait. So there's 3 levels. Everyone starts out as a guide. And actually, you guys aren't quite a guide yet because you have to go through a couple different components before you become an official guide. But essentially, everyone starts at the guide level, and then they can move up to lead or senior level. And obviously, as you go higher up, levels become a little bit more difficult to achieve. There's more things to do. So each level has some basic competencies, and then in the lead and senior levels, there's activity points that you need to achieve. So to get to the guide, you need the GBYS initial trainings plus the 2 additional trainings. So those, I've already taken effect, all these recorded webinars that you're doing and then the 3 live ones with me, that takes into effect. So you don't have to worry about, oh, did I do We Are Hands and Voices? I've taken care of that for you. You just complete the trainings that I sent your way and you'll be good to go. So you do that, then you go through our program-specific training, so the policy and procedure, program protocols, what we're doing tonight, and so forth. Reviewing Guides Guide, again, that's one of those trainings I sent your way. The Hands and Voices website, that's another training I sent your way. And then complete the initial pre-training, pre- and post-test. I don't believe I got you those links yet, so let me make myself a note. And make sure. And then you would also have a mentor. And whether you actually physically get together with that mentor to go meet with family or you're doing it over the phone, but you would have a mentor that you would do at least 2 calls with, and it would be a pre and a post call. So before you talk with the family, you would talk with the guide and say, okay, I'm ready to call my new family. This is what I'm going to do. And then after you call the family, you contact the guide again, that is your mentor, and say, okay, I talked to the family, this is what happened. And then that would be it. And that's your guide level. I did not go in depth in the others because, again, you'll have that training. I wanted to get into the fun stuff. What would be the benefits of achieving these levels? So once you guys are officially a guide, you get to pick a $50 gift card of your choice. And then, of course, we would blast that out saying, hello, we've got 3 new guides. And then if you attend Mom's Night In, you would get a $10 off Mom's Night In registration for you. And then, as you can see, lead guide moves up to $100 and a larger Mom's Night In registration discount, and senior guide even more gift card fun and registration discounts. So how do you track? Again, that special section on the timesheet. And then when you turn in your timesheet to me, I actually record that onto the spreadsheet, which I send out to the team once a month so everyone can see where they stand and what they have left to achieve the next level. If you have at ever any time find yourself stuck or don't know what to do for the next level or how to achieve that particular category, don't hesitate to reach out to me. All right, some things to think about. Silent auction dinner, you guys all know that's coming up in April in Naperville. Good times. We, in the past, have done a family fun walk. We're all ears. We called it after our newsletter, and EAR stands for Events and Resources Statewide. It's typically held in October in Springfield. We did not do one in 2013. That's why we're doing the auction. I'm not quite sure what we're doing in, no, sorry, not 2013, 2014. I'm not sure what we're doing in 2015, but we'll see. But it was a beautiful park, a great time, and we were just trying to bring our programs to the central part of the state and not have every event be up north. Walk for Hearing, one of the reasons that we also held our walk in central Illinois, it was that there's already the Walk for Hearing happening in the northern part of the state. And that's typically held September, October in the Lincoln Park area. We do always have a team, and you can encourage families to be participating as part of our team. Shop with Script. So Script is a gift card purchasing program, and you can order gift cards through the program. There are some gift cards that you can order that you can print off right away. So if you, hey, you know you're going out to Texas Roadhouse, hello, you can just go ahead and print out your gift certificate and take it with you to the restaurant. And we made, I think their return might be about 8%. We made 8% off your gift card. You know what? And it adds up. It really does. If everyone did it, it would be great. But not everyone takes the time. But, you know, just letting you know it's there. You do have to sign up, and you do have to sign up for Presto Pay, which allows you to pay through a check or credit card through the computer. And so you do have to do that ahead of time, so just keep that in mind. That takes, I think, about 2 days to set up. So if that was something that you were interested in doing, make sure that you give yourself time to set that up. Again, Old Navy, they would offer 14% back. So if you order $100, we just earned $14. Woot, woot, and you just gave away, you know, you have 4 gift cards to give out as gifts. And I don't know what the current Script Now vendors are. Script Now are the ones that you can print out. So you can see there's quite a few. I mean really endless options here. And just kind of helping you think of outside of the box. You know, maybe you're like, oh, I have all I can do to pay my own bills. Well, maybe there are things there that you have bills for that you can get gift cards to pay your bill with. This is what their page looks like, and you know, so forth. So this was cut and pasted from probably a year or so ago. So the percentages might be different. Percentages are always changing because it's what the vendors choose to give back. So before we move on, any questions before we get to the post-test? All right, quiet as a mouse. Let's move on. If my arrow would let me. Stinky. Okay. Ha! See, now it won't going too fast. All right, question number 1. Maximum amount of time that you can wait to bill for any family time is A, 2 weeks, B, 45 days, or C, there is no time cap. Wonderful. Question 2. After you receive notification from me that you are matched with a family, you should A, wait until next week when you have more time to contact them. B, go to their house so you can introduce yourself. Or C, call, text, or email them within 48 hours of receiving the information from me. Wonderful. Question 3. You should submit progress notes to me, A, once a quarter, B, every week, C, every time you submit a timesheet, D, when you are done working with the family, or E, never. All right, question 4. You can bill for travel time for an in-home visit, A, only the first time you visit the family in person, B, every time you visit the family in person, or C, you cannot bill for travel time for in-person visits. All right, question 5. You guys are doing awesome. There are 4 levels in the recognition program, true or false? And question 6. You should leave your guide by your side paperwork, such as progress notes and intake forms, laying out around the house, true or false? All right. Wonderful. Woohoo, we're done.